Yes, listeners.
Book babes and book bros.
Welcome to Book Babble. I'm Rachel,
And I'm Tanya, and we're the Witlet Women, your hosts for the day.
and today we have a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Elsa Portman or ES Portman, and I write romance both in fantasy and dark.
So
Well,
excited.
Yes.
yeah, we're so excited also to have you on. Are you ready to babble?
I'm ready.
All right, I will put 5 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
All right. So my first question is almost always, what inspired your stories?
So at the time, I was actually like when I first started writing Of Air and Fire, I was in therapy, and my therapist recommended that I write letters to my mom, who had passed away when I was 16, and I was still coping with that, especially after having a daughter of my own. And I was reading Zodiac Academy.
Love it.
And so like the trauma from the main character that she experiences is like my letter that my therapist suggested. And I kind of just like fell in love with writing that and then like intertwining some fantasy elements that I was falling in love with even more reading Zodiac Academy. So the elemental magic, the other world, like the portaling, I got that. I was inspired by Zodiac Academy a lot.
Amazing. I'm knee deep in the Zodiac Academy right now, and I
Oh
love the whole,
yeah.
I love it. So, given that you have written from such a deep personal space, are there any characters that you identify with more than others in your series?
Right. Yeah. So Paige from that series in the Mora Chronicles, she's the FMC. She's the one who I connected with the most. I kind of tried to pour as much as I could in to her of myself. So she has the same trauma responses. She goes through anxiety and panic attacks, which has actually been super therapeutic. So props to my therapist. If you guys want to say thank you for a series tour, you know.
We love a good therapy session. We love a good therapist. So,
Yeah.
yes.
So, yeah, I think I connect with her the most. Though I feel like every character that I write has like a tiny little piece of me, even if it's like their favorite food is the same as mine, or like their hobby they really like, or anything like that. I try to tie in at least like one element of myself because I feel like it's easier to write like what you know,
Yeah.
and
It's
it
very
helps.
intentional too when you do that. So,
Yeah,
it makes the characters very real.
yeah, it
Yeah.
does. I think it
I
helps.
like want to stick my fingers in and just like grab onto the mental health representation because that's so near and dear to my heart as a therapist and just
Yay.
as an advocate.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
um, but we only have 2 minutes left. So,
Okay.
what is your process for writing?
So I don't really have like a strict process. I'm definitely a pantser. I've tried to do the W plot method, which is like a whole, it's actually what Rebecca Yarros uses. She like starts at a high and then goes to a low and then middle. It sounds like you've heard of this before. So like like the W plot structure, I've tried it, but I'm such a pantser. And like mostly my stories come to me like honestly while I'm driving my kids to school or in the bathtub or shower, like during my private time when I should have nothing on my mind. Just, oh, it's like, hey, this character sounds really good. Let's pair them with another character. And then they kind of just take off from there. So my stories are very like character driven. I mostly think of them first, and then the rest of the story just kind of comes to me. But yeah.
Yeah. So, you've touched on a little bit of like personal stuff, but are
Mhm.
there any other secrets that you can tell us about your series or your writing journey so far?
So, with the right now, I'm about to release Lie to Me, which is another series that I've just started. It was originally only going to be a standalone, like My Rose was. But I'm turning it into a series of interconnected standalones. That's not a secret now. But with now picking back up on the third book of the romantasy series, I am which is the final book, I'm realizing that I'm going to have a lot of unaliving um, because it is kind of like the grand finale. There's a lot going on. There's a war now. So yes, the secret would be just to expect a lot more. heartbreak, I guess. Some of the characters that you fall in love with might not be there anymore.
Oh
And I'm
my
so
gosh.
sorry.
I I hate when people get, I mean, characters get killed off, obviously, but it's also like my favorite thing because it has such an emotional impact. So
Right.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
I think I'm gonna cry a lot. Like I think I've put off like getting to this because I was supposed to pick it up right after my rose, and I was like, I'm gonna write this dark country romance out of nowhere, and then I'm gonna come back to it because I knew how much heartbreak was gonna be happening. But now I'm ready for it, and there goes our time. I like the
We
music.
just we just hit our 5 minute time, if you couldn't tell, with the very interesting timer. So we will continue chatting, but this 5 minute AMA session will go on our social channels like Instagram and YouTube, or sorry, Spotify. No, Instagram and TikTok, and then the full episode will go on Spotify and YouTube.
All right.
So yeah, we'll just keep chatting. I
Okay.
know Rachel really wanted to dig into the mental health representation, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna give her the floor so she can have at it.
Yeah. So I guess I know that you talked about really getting into kind of personal experiences to inspire some of that stuff. What kind of research do you do beyond that, or is it just your personal experience and kind of digging into that personal experience?
So a lot of it is personal experience, although one of the books that I had just Lie to Me has a different kind of trauma and trauma response. And I wasn't quite sure exactly how to go about that because hers was all physical, whereas mine growing up was more emotional. So I actually had a beta reader who is a therapist, and she was kind of like double checking to make sure like all of my research that I had read about online, all the movies that I've watched, like I know you can't always go based off movies, but if you have like a collection and you kind of like involve yourself as much as you can in documentaries and things like that. So she double checked and tried to make sure that it was all good. So I did actually have a therapist on board.
So cool. Yeah, one of my favorite classes in undergrad was an abnormal psychology in the movies class, which really introduced me to what mainstream media can do for just the mental health awareness. And I think it's incredible to watch people write that into their stories. So thank you for offering a realistic portrayal of what mental health looks like and what healing can be. So that's
Oh,
really exciting.
thank you.
And
Oh,
Elsa,
that sounds like a cool class.
how much research would you say that you put into crafting these backstories and making sure you're doing the justice, doing this trauma justice when you write them?
Uh, a lot of research. I feel like, but I'm also like obsessed with that part. So like I feel like in all of my careers that I've had before, I was always like researching and researching, and I've just always liked looking into different topics. I guess like a hobby of mine is learning about new things
Hmm.
obsessively. So I actually will like interview people. I'll read as much as I can, like journal entries and things like that. I'll talk to people who have gone through it. I feel like interviewing people is my most favored. Though the book that I'm about to release, I got to go to a farm to learn about horses. Yeah. My best friend's grandparents actually have like a random collection of farm animals. So she and she barrel races. She's been barrel racing like her whole life. So she got to teach me a lot about that. And for like the butterfly aspect, I watched so many like what you would see in a college class. It was more like what you would go and watch for like those 3 hour things that people would normally fall asleep at, but I was so invested in it. It's like, here is this butterfly, here is another one. But I've learned so much just by attending those. So thank you to all those college like documentaries and the
No, I
people
love
who
hearing
spend the
about
time.
how detailed people will get and how like you can really tell in writing when someone does their research and it shows very well like if they do it or not. And to the authors that take the care to go in and research these things, even if it's just butterflies, like that it just brings a story to life in such a way that I don't even know. It brings it to life in such an incredible way. So
Right.
thank
And then like you might have like that one reader who knows obviously like a lot more about that topic than you do. So you don't want to ruin the entire story for them because of your lack of research, like if you're just guessing something. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend who is a therapist. Rachel is also one. But often when she reads, she'll be like, "That is not right. They did not research it." And I'm just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah, especially like in dark romance, I feel like it's very important because you will come across like those aspects that are heavier and deeper, and the people reading those are usually people who have gone through therapy or grew up with that, and
Mhm.
they want something realistic. So you don't want to just
Yeah.
put something out there and they're like, this isn't great."
Yeah, and that's the thing, like even though these are fictional books, like you want them to seem real and you're doing it justice. So thank you.
Thank you.
I did want to comment. You said something about like a dark country romance, and I've never read anything like that with that kind of mix of the genres. So that's really exciting. Can you talk more about what that is?
Yeah, sure. So there's actually one other series that I have read that is like it, but it's cowboy. So those boys, they're actually working with cows and horses and things like that. But I was like, I don't want to make any of them cowboys. I just want like, I live in Florida. There is different rural areas that are like, they're just country. They're not cowboys and they're not cowgirls. They're just country. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so you can take the same elements that you'll find in any like dark romance. Well, I guess not so much the stalker. He doesn't stalk her, but and give it to a Southern guy and see what happens.
What happens is my new favorite book. So
It's called Lie to Me. It comes out on the 30th. So yeah, only 4 more days. I hope you read it. I hope you love it. They
yes.
both definitely have. It's the first book that I've written where both of them are red flags. They both have their own issues. And it's
Sign
second
me up right
chance.
now.
It's second chance. It's dual point of view and dual timeline. So you'll go back and see them growing their relationship in high school and then flash forward 10 years when she comes back into town. Um, and it's not a happy reunion because,
Best
Sign
kind.
me
very
up.
spicy, it's very dark.
Yes. Those are my favorite though. Like they're so real and honest. So yeah.
Gotta go pre-order that like immediately.
Yeah. Looking that up right now.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
So we are almost out of time. So this is usually when we kind of pass the torch over to you. And if there's anything that you want to say to your readers or to the listeners, we want to give you some space to say that.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to let you know that I'm trying to get through the last book of the Mora Chronicles. There is supposed to be another like duology that I'm spinning off with two characters that might be on hold just as I'm going back into that dark country romance that I decided to extend. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, coming along for the ride. I'm sorry for mixing up so many genres because I started in romantasy and I was like, yay, fantasy. And then I was like, but I kind of like dark and like not fantasy. So I hope you guys are all about those two genres when you like me.
Absolutely. Listen, explore every genre that you can. I love multi-genre authors, and I think so many other people do as well.
Well, thank you. That makes me hopeful.
Well, Elsa, thank you so much for joining us today. We had such a great time.
Thank
And
you.
we will wrap up, but I hope to see you on here again soon.
Yeah, I'd love to come back. Thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
absolutely. All right. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.